إلى يوم القيامة. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد عدد ما هبت الرياح وعدد ما تحركت الأشجار والأوراق والزروع وجميع
Resul-i Ekrem ve Nebi-i Muhterem sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem Efendimiz Hazretlerinin aziz şartına ve mutahhar-ı şeriflerine salavat-ı şerifi getirenlerine ahir ve akıbetleri hayrola. Âl-i ezvacı, tahiret evladı Resul-i Eshab-ı Efendilerimizin sayr-ı enbiya-i ve Resul-i Fiyam Hazirat-ı Envar şeriflerine Pirimiz Bilal-ı Habeşi radıyallahu anh Efendimizin, Şeyhimiz SahibulSaif Şeyh Abdulkerim Kibrisi Rabbani Hazretlerinin ve alel husus bu caminin banisi ve bugüne kadar içerisinden gelmiş geçmiş İmam Müezzin kaynlarının ve kahve ehli imanın ervahı Allah rızası için El Fatiha. Euzubillahimineşşeytanirracim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. İnnallâhe ve melâiketehu yusallûne alen-nebi. Ya eyyühellezîne âmenû sallu aleyhi ve sellimû teslîmâ. Allahümme salli ala seyyidina Muhammedin ve ala ali seyyidina Muhammed. Allahu Ekber, Allahu Ekber. Allahu Ekber, Allahu Ekber. Eşhedü en la ilahe illallah. Eşhedü en la ilahe illallah. Eşhedü enne Muhammeden Resulullah. Eşhedü enne Muhammeden Resulullah. Hayya ale's-selam. Hayya ale's-selam. Hayya alel-felah. Hayya alel-felah. Allahu Ekber, Allahu Ekber. La ilahe illallah.
Elhamdülillah, elhamdülillah. Elhamdülillahi Rabbil alemin. Ve salatu ve selamu ala Resulina Muhammedin ve ala alihi ve sahbihi ecmain. Nahmadullah Teala ve nestağfiruhu, neşhedü en la ilahe illallah vahdehu la şerike leh. Neşhedü enne seyyidina Muhammeden abduhu ve habibuhu ve resuluhu. Sallallahu aleyhi ve ala alihi ve ezvacihi ve sahabe tabi khurfen raşidin mahadin min ba'di. Zemmeti ala tahkik, hususu min alameti Khalifah Rasul ala tahkik. Umarel mu'minin Hazreti Ebu Bakr, Umar, Osman ve Ali ve ala bekir sahabe tabi'in ridvanullah Teala aleyhim ecmain. Ya eyyuhal mu'minul hazirun İttakullah Teala ve tu'innallaha mellezine tekvellezine hum muhsinun. Elhamdülillahi Rabbil alemin. Ve salatu ve selamu ala eşrafil enbiya mursalin Seyyidina Mevlana Muhammedin ve ala alihi ve sahbihi ecmain. All praises are due to Allah, Lord of the universes. All praises are due to Allah, who is the first and the last, the manifest and the hidden, the majestic and the beautiful. All praises are due to Allah, who has blown the divine breath into Adam alayhi salam and honored his children. All praises are due to Allah, who raised Sayyidina Muhammad alayhi salam as his beloved and his chosen one. May all peace and blessings be upon the pride of the universes, the master of all creation, the possessor of the Maqam al-Mahmud, the beloved of Allah, the one who says, Ummati, Ummati, Sayyidina Muhammad alayhi wasalam. And may peace and blessings be upon his noble family and blessed companions, especially upon the four Khulafa Rashidin, Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq, Hazrat Umar Farooq, Hazrat Osman al-Ghani and Hazrat Ali al-Murtaza, and all those who follow them until the last day. May peace and blessings be upon the generations of Muslims who upheld this religion by standing for haqq and opposing batil. May peace and blessings be upon the awliya Allah who inherited the work of the Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam to call mankind from dunya to Mawla. May peace and blessings be upon the Dawlatil Aliyah and the house of Osman, who held the flag of Islam with nobility and will, inshallah, raise that flag again. Ameen. O believers, we should thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He has made us Muslims. We should thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He has led us to be from the ummah of His beloved one. We must thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we are in the ummah of the Sahabai Kiram and the Tabi'in and the Tabi'in and the generations of believers who have come and passed from this world. Those who came before us, they completed their mission in this world. They lived for Allah and they died for Allah. They lived and died for the passion, for the love, for the ashq of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. And they passed this religion to us. It is because of them that we're able to say the shahadat so freely with our tongues. The work has now passed to us. The trust of Islam that was carried for 1400 years is now in our hands. And now we have received this trust in a time that has been prophesied and awaited by mankind since Adam alayhi salam. We have received this trust in the Ahir of the Ahir Zaman. History is looking. History is looking at us and asking, how will we carry this trust? How will we carry this trust in the age of Jababira, tyranny, and the age of Dajjal, the Antichrist? How will we fit into the history of Islam? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying to us in Surah Al-Ankabut, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, do the people think they will be left to say, we believe, and they will not be tested? But we certainly tested those before them. And Allah will definitely make clear who is truthful. And He will surely make clear who are liars. Sadaqallahu al-Azim. So it is not enough for us to say that we believe. We must prove our belief. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that He is going to test us to see the proof of that belief. The generations of Islam before us, they were all tested. And they all proved their faith to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As our Shaykh, SahibulSaif, Shaykh Abdulkerim al-Kibrisi Rabbani Qaddasallahu Sir is explaining, Muslims before, they were not like us. The Muslims, they left everything. They left their belongings, they left their homes, they left everything in Mecca, and they emigrated to Medina. They didn't take anything with them. The only thing they were looking at was the Holy Prophet ﷺ. And they were running after his words. Whatever he was saying, they were running, they were taking and putting his words on top of their heads and living according to those words. And in a very short time, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tested them. When He tested them and He looked at their faith that, yes, they are strong in what they are believing, He gave them the dunya too. They left everything in Mecca. They came back to Medina. And in a very short time, a handful of people who were slaves, they turned and they started ruling the world. When the Holy Prophet ﷺ was giving his message, in 23 years' time, his message reached everywhere, east, west, north, and south. When Islam reached 50 years of age, Islam was ruling all the way from China to North Africa. How these people did it? And up till the last century, that's how it was. Only one way. They kept Allah and His Prophet ﷺ priority. They kept dunya second class. Because of that, Allah gave them the authority of the dunya also. What is our Shaykh saying? That when the Muslims passed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's tests, He gave them honor, not just in Akhirat, but also in dunya. As long as the Muslims were obedient to Allah and His Prophet, as long as they were keeping the love of the dunya out of their hearts, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made them to be the sultans of this world. And that is proven through history. Look at the history of Islam. One of the greatest sicknesses in this ummah is that we forgot our history. And we forgot who we are completely. But we remind each other that history is not important. We stop ourselves from learning the history of our own civilization. Shaykh Efendi is saying, look at your history. Muslims must know their history first for them to be able to understand the hadiths and the ayats. If you don't know the history of Islam, then you cannot understand the hadiths of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. This statement of our Shaykh, it gives the reason. It gives the reason for the fitna and the confusion in the ummah today. Nobody knows the history of Islam. Nobody is teaching the history of Islam. Nobody wants to know the history of Islam. So people are walking ignorant of their past, and that ignorance, it will give birth to the arrogance that we see today. But every country is running, every Muslim country is running to teach the history of their pre-Islamic civilization. Every Muslim country, every country is running to make their citizens to know the history of their own countries, especially in the time of their Jahiliyyah before Islam. But when it comes to the Islam and what Islam had done to their countries, they gloss it over and they say this is not important. Some Muslims are saying, well, the only history we care about is the first 3 generations, just the Holy Prophet ﷺ and the Salafus Salih. Everything after that is bid'at and kufr and shirk. So they are cancelling out the faith of 13 centuries of Muslims who lived and they died for Allah. The history of this ummah did not end with the Khulafai Rashidin. The first 3 generations were just the beginning of our history. So the one who ignores what came after that, he is arrogant because he believes he can jump over 13 centuries of believers to reach directly to the Holy Prophet ﷺ and his Sahabi Kiram. It is impossible because Islam is founded on isnad, chain. Imam Abdullah ibn Mubarak radiallahu an said, isnad is part of our religion. And if it was not for isnad, one would have said whatever one desired. When it is said to the one who speaks without isnad, who informed you? He remained silent and confused. He also said, the one who seeks matters of his religion without an isnad is similar to the one who climbs to the roof without a ladder. So that is the condition of those who ignore the chain of believers that connects us back to the Holy Prophet ﷺ. Then we have those who believe in the chains of narrations. They believe in the isnad of narrations, but say, we only believe in the ulama. The only ones who were guided in the history of Islam were the scholars, the Khalifahs and the sultans and the wazirs and the Sadr Azams. They were all corrupt. The awliya Allah and the murids and the people of tasawwuf, they were all corrupt. We take our knowledge of Islam only from scholars. This is another trick from those who want us to forget who we are. Because yes, of course, the ulama, the scholars are definitely important to Islam. And the ulama, they guarded and protected this religion from so much corruption. The mazhab imams, Imam Abu Hanifa, Imam Malik, Imam Shafi, Imam Ahmad, they guarded this religion. The Aqidah imams, Imam Maturidi and Imam Ash'ari, They guarded this religion. Their teachings make the Ahl Sunnah wa Jama'ah. And those Imams, they were all connected to the saints of Islam. They were all connected to Tasawwuf. And they all said that the knowledge of Tasawwuf, the knowledge of the heart, is the highest knowledge. Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal radiallahu anh said, "O my son, you have to sit with the people of Tasawwuf, because they are like a fountain of knowledge, and they keep the remembrance of Allah in their hearts. They are the pious, and they have the most spiritual power." So those who try to delete Tasawwuf from our history, they are also wrong. We must know that history to understand the heights to which our civilization reached. That is not the entire history of Islam. The decisions and actions of the Imams that we mention, and the other great Imams of our religion, they happen in a situation. They happen in a part of history. They happen in context. And that context, it always comes from ruling. To understand the history of this ummah, we must understand and know the history of the Khalifahs who ruled this ummah. This is the first history that we were made to forget by our enemies. The enemies came into the lands of Islam and conquered different areas. They came and they said, "Your sultan is weak, your sultan is corrupt, your empire is decaying. Look at our technology, look at our lifestyle, look at our knowledge. We can also teach you how to get dunya, just forget your history. And we will teach you how to be like us." And that's what happened. Muslims for the last 100 years, they not only forgot about their sultans and the Khalifahs, they curse at them. Shaykh Efendi is saying, Muslims became the quickest to curse their own grandfathers. No nation in history has ever turned around cursing their grandfathers, but the Turks became number one, cursing the sultans, because that's what the Westerners wanted them to do. The Muslims turned around and started cursing too, saying they kept us under this ruling, and that's why we fell behind. Muslims cursing to their ancestors, it is a sign of Qiyamah. The Holy Prophet ﷺ said in one part of a longer hadith, when the last ones of this ummah curse the first ones, then let them expect a red wind or the earth to swallow them or to be transformed into animals. And the Prophet of Allah speaks the truth. This is our humiliating condition today. The heavy words fall so lightly from the mouths of ignorant Muslims. They say, "Oh, this sultan was corrupt. The Ottomans were oppressors. The Khalifahs were just looking out for their own interests." These words have brought shame and dishonor to the ummah, because the Holy Prophet ﷺ said, "The sultan is the shadow of Allah on earth. Whoever honors him, Allah will honor that one. And whoever hates him, Allah will hate that one." The sultans and the Khalifahs of Islam and the governments and civilizations that they establish, it represent the majesty and power of this religion. The sultans are a continuation of the power and authority of the Holy Prophet ﷺ on earth and the representation of Allah. It doesn't matter who they are. It doesn't matter how they are. Yes, there may have been some that were less than perfect. Yes, there may have been some that made so many mistakes. But in the history of Islam, in our history, the worst of the sultans, they did more for Islam than the best of us today. And the civilization that they brought and established and they helped to grow, it is the greatest civilization that has ever existed in the history of the world. This is not exaggeration, this is fact. The Ottoman sultans, they ruled for 600 years. One dynasty. They brought the peak of human civilization in this world. No other empire in history brought people of different religions, different ethnicities, different colors, living together under one banner in peace. They put fairness in their laws and courts. They brought so much peace in the world that even the West refers to their time as Pax Ottomana. Art, music, culture became their most beautiful in Ottoman times. Science and technology also rose, but according to the Shariat of Allah. And all of this rose from their obedience to Allah and His Prophet, not their love for this dunya. If it is because of their love for this dunya, they would have done exactly what the Western powers have done to Africa, to Asia, to Southeast Asia, to Latin America, to the rest of the world. If the Ottomans were for dunya, they would have done exactly what the West had done to destroy this whole world that we are seeing in less than 200 years. The mistakes that they have done to us, to the whole world. We cannot turn the clock back until a great power from the paradises, from the heavens come. And the flowers that bloomed in the gardens of the Ottomans, they were given life because they planted in a soil. The soil was watered by the tears of the Sultan, who cried out of their fear and the love of their Lord. And they were watered by the blood of the martyrs. The greatness of the Ottomans came because of their dedication and obedience, especially to the awliya Allah. The Ottomans were known as an empire of tasawwuf. Yes, the Ottoman sultans, they were murids of the Sufi sheikhs, the sultans who ruled the 7 climates. They used to hold a towel for the sheikh while he made wudu. Before the sultan would set off to fight in the way of Allah, he would go to the tomb of Abu Ayyub Ansari radiallahu an, where his sheikh would bless him and tie the sword to his belt. It was this dedication to the awliya Allah, it was this muhabbat for the Rasulullah alayhi wasalam, and the obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that gave them greatness and honor for over 600 years. It gave the Muslims greatness and honor for the last 600 years. Muslims, what did we trade this honor for? For enlightenment philosophy? For Western technology? For democracy? Did we trade our faith to follow these systems of oppression and selfishness that are built on the foundation of zulm, of oppression, of the love of this dunya, and of tyranny? Did we abandon our sultans and our khalifahs to follow presidents and prime ministers who use their office only to make themselves to become rich? Did we abandon the civilization of Islam to follow those who did not know how to bathe until they met the Muslims? We have to wake up. The trust of Islam is now in our hands. Our faith and our religion are under attack from every side and from the inside every single day. To survive these attacks, we are not going to physically fight. We must fix our hearts. We must fix our hearts so that we understand what is haq and what is batil. We must fix our hearts so that they become like the fortresses of truth, to keep away the falsehood. We must fix our hearts so that they contain only the love of Allah and His Prophet and the ones that they love. We must remember who we are. That is the only way we're going to pass the test. Shaykh Efendi is saying, run to Allah, run to the service of Allah. That is enough. If you're looking to have honor, don't look for people to say to you, oh, you are so good, you are that, you are this. You know who you are and you know what you are. If you are looking for honor, be with those who have honor. And the only Holy Prophet ﷺ, the only one that has been given honor, is the Holy Prophet ﷺ and all those who are following his footsteps. That is the honor we must look for. All other titles, they are given to you They are garbage and they are rubbish. Nothing else. It is only temporary too. If you get that honor, if you will be in that book once, and if they put your name in that book, that is forever. Dunya and Akhirat. Ya Rabbi, we're asking you for the honor to be walking in the footsteps of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, of those who walked in his way, in the footsteps of our Shaykh. Ya Rabbi, we're asking you not to let us to forget ourselves and to count us as being Muslims, to count us as being Ottomans. Ameen. Astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah lazim alazi. La ilaha illa huwa al-hayyul qayyum wa atubu ilayhi. لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له له الملك والحمد لله شيء قدير لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له له الملك والحمد لله شيء قدير لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له له الملك والحمد لله شيء قدير لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك كنت من الظالمين لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك كنت من الظالمين لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك كنت من الظالمين سبحان قدوس ربنا رب الملائكة والروح سبحان قدوس ربنا سبحان قدوس ربنا رب الملائكة والروح إن ديننا عند الله الإسلام قال الصلاة اللهم صل على محمد استغفر الله عز وجل.
الله